Right, welcome to another video, and we are here with some more Ashes of Creation because I felt they need to do a follow-up video, quite frankly, because I felt like I just left out so much information, in part because the last video was seriously off the cuff. I just kind of did it, but this time I've made some notes. Ignore the handwriting, but I have made some notes because there is a lot more to this game that has already been announced. This isn't even all of it. This is another small segment, really. I'm not expecting this to be much longer than 20 minutes, but there's just a couple of things that I want to talk about that I think are really important to know. And I wanted to start off really with the game packages. So I think I probably mentioned it in the last video, but this game doesn't cost any money to own. However, there will be a subscription fee. So think WoW, but you don't have to buy there's no box price. I think this is a great move because in essence it means you can try the game for a month for 1 month of subscription, which normally for an MMO is around $15 or about £10, 10 British pounds. But I wanted to show off these game packages because I think that it's really interesting. So we're going to start off with the Wayfarer. This is the one that I have pre-ordered, the cheapest one, and basically it comes with 2 months of in-game time, which they are saying is $30 of value, which basically suggests that it's going to be a $15 a month subscription fee. Like I said, about 10 to 12 British pounds, and it'll be similar for Euro, for fellow Europeans who don't have their kind of dedicated currencies anymore, as well as access to the Beta 2 test phase. So towards the end of this year, there'll be the Alpha 1 testing phase, which will have mostly just streamers and content creators, kind of like YouTubers and so on, as well as I think the higher tier packages. I believe we'll get around to that in a moment. You also get $25 worth of Embers, which is for the in-game marketplace for cosmetic items. Nothing's pay to win. I mean, they even point it out up here, no pay to win. And also the Thicket Endowment, which is an accessory cosmetic skin. And you also get the yeah, and that is it. That is it. So you get some cosmetic stuff. You get access to the second wave of the beta, effectively. You also get 2 months of subscription time and some in-game kind of store credit, which is pretty good for $75. I think that's like £60, I believe. It's not too bad. And then just to kind of show off what the other tiers are, you can have a quick look here. Beta 1, Beta 2, 4 months of in-game time, $50 in Embers, the Endowment again, and the Bog Brute Pet cosmetic skin, which is pretty damn cool looking from the little concept art that they have there. The Voyager package, which 100 in Embers, 6 months game time, access to the Alpha 2, which is pretty damn cool. The Bog Brute as well, yeah, all the same, except you get the Timeless Terrapin, which is a mount cosmetic skin. So this must be the Terrapin. It looks like it looks a bit like a turtle with like a tree on it, a little bit like the Pokemon starter no, I can't remember what it was called now. The turtle starter from Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. Looks a little bit like that. It's pretty cool. And then the Voyager Plus, which comes with a little bit more. Alpha 2, Alpha 1, Beta 2. So none of them come with Alpha 1. I think Alpha 1 will literally just be for kind of big streamers and content creators. I doubt I'll get myself an Alpha 1 key. I would love an Alpha 1 key if anyone sees this from the Intrepid. Why am I being such brain dying? You get name reservation. If you don't know what name reservation is, so in MMOs you can normally just choose one name per server, or per entire game. So for example, if I wanted to reserve, I always think of of streamer Asmongold. He always hates how the fact that every time he starts a game, Asmongold is normally taken. So if he pays for this package, he can reserve the name Asmongold on whatever server he's going to play on, which is pretty cool. There's also a caravan cosmetic skin, which is cool. I think, yeah, because I haven't read up too much on the caravans. That's not in today's notes. But I believe you can, yes, have a caravan as like, I think it counts as kind of a mount. Maybe it has storage on it. I don't know. I don't want to mention things like that until I genuinely know what it's about. You also get a freehold building cosmetic skin. Freeholds being the buildings that you have outside of the cities. You can only have, I think, one per account. And I think you have to be like a guild leader. I could be wrong. And then it's all the other stuff. I don't think there's anything extra here. And that's an incredibly expensive pack. So, you know, you're getting a lot of stuff out of that. I don't know what I'd probably say is the best value, to be honest. I think probably the Wayfarer, or maybe the Expeditionary. I think getting access to Beta 1 might be quite good. I don't know when Beta 1's going to be. I think Alpha 1 being the end of this year, we can expect Alpha 2 to probably be spring and Beta 1 to be summer. Beta 2 could probably also be summer. They might bookend summer, maybe. I don't know. But that's very interesting. Now, there's two things I want to show. This is 5,000 simulated players. Not 5,000 players, 5,000 simulated. Their servers are meant to have 10,000 on. So this is just showing an absolute load of them. I think it's really interesting just to see the tech that they're using, because they have so many online interactive people working for them. So it's super cool to see them putting that sort of big scale tech to the test. You know, I think when I think of my favourite PvP experience currently, it's Cyrodiil in the Elder Scrolls Online, because you get these massive player battles with like hundreds of people from each alliance, but it's never thousands. It's never crazy big. It's just pretty big. So seeing this working, you know, in obviously a pre-alpha build, so it's all subject to change, but it looks cool. It looks pretty cool that they're clearly spending a lot of time on that sort of tech. I'm not, you know, at all disappointed seeing this sort of stuff. I think it's super cool. Super cool to see them getting it working. And then there's also one last thing I wanted to mention. The lead dev, Stephen Sheriff, the guy who put 30 million of his own money into this game. The most passionate dev I think I've ever seen. He's super passionate about his project. He clearly has spent a lot of time. He posts these, obviously, I think every month they do a video update. Very reminiscent of, it's very transparent, and it kind of reminds me of the Sea of Thieves Rare devs doing their weekly updates. And it's good to see. I love devs who do that. I think it's really good. It keeps the player base in the loop, which is a good thing, because I think it helps build up excitement, because people know what's coming, and they can almost level their expectations in the right way, rather than overhyping and not really knowing what's coming, which then can lead to obviously a kind of the adverse effect, a very negative point of view, even if the game's pretty decent. Looking at this map, I'll pull up a big map on the screen while I start up this gameplay. I noted that some of the biomes that you can see from the map, it looks like there's going to be mountains, snowy mountains as well, tundra, kind of, it almost looked like there was like glacial sort of areas, desert islands, obviously the ocean's going to play a big part. I didn't really put this in my notes, but he said there will be sea creatures, sea-based missions and quests, as well as boats. Seafaring, I think you can actually do ship building as one of like the many jobs that you can have in this game. So you can get good at shipbuilding if you want, and you can make ships that multiple people can be in, which is super cool. But they do effectively work like mounts from what I've heard. At the end of the day, I'm just interpreting and trying to condense, you know, what they've said. I will be posting, by the way, all of the sources that I have recently kind of, I guess, digested. It's a lot of their I've gone back through a lot of their old monthly updates, as well as some of their blog posts. So I'll make sure to put those in the description so you can read up and watch up in more detail and in a longer form factor, because it is hours of information that I'm trying to condense here. So I'm basically just taking what I think was most interesting and just saying what I think, really. I think for the most part, most of my views are positive. There were a couple of things I thought were interesting, but we'll get into it. So first off, I wanted to talk about kind of the world, and primarily kind of housing and citizenship, which I thought was interesting. So I had heard that citizenship was you needed a property to become a citizen. So that's not the case anymore. So if you don't know, you can become a citizen for the villages all the way up to the metropolises, which are like mega cities. And if you're a citizen, you obviously defend that node when it gets attacked. In a PvP scenario, obviously you want to destroy a node in order to access adjacent nodes and level them up to access more content. So that's why there's that attack and defense kind of gameplay. And it's very interesting, really, because it really does mean this world will be evolving over time. So first off with the housing, it very much said that you bid for these houses, right? But it's very much kind of a first come first serve to the sounds of things when it's in its village form, but there's less properties to choose from. So as it gets bigger and there's more citizens, it starts to become more of a bidding kind of system. And there's also a grace period, I believe, when you sell a property, so you can't just sell constantly and move about the place all the time. You do have to, and it's the same with being a citizen. If you give up your citizenship, you can't instantly join a different city and become a citizen. You do have to wait some time. I don't know whether it's a couple of real-time days, or maybe it's a real-time week, or if it's in-game time. I don't know. But that sounds very interesting. As well as this, you can also share your houses. So there's apartments, houses, and freeholds. Freeholds being these bigger, kind of one per account buildings. Otherwise, it's one per server for the apartments and houses. So you can have one apartment, one house, and one freehold on one server, or you can only have, I think, one freehold per account. Just to clear that up, so you can have at least 2 buildings, 2 properties per server, and potentially up to 3 if you have a freehold, which is cool. So you can have a family, basically, which basically the way he explained it is it will work like a guild. So you can basically have your friends be part of your family and they can come visit your property. It's basically going to work like a permissions system. So like on Elder Scrolls Online, for example, I can have it so people can just visit my house from my guild or from my friends list, and I can tweak it so I can make it just so no one can visit my house willy-nilly, which is good, but because you might have kind of in Elder Scrolls, you can have kind of usable items in your house. You might not want people constantly abusing your house as an area to change their character stats and stuff like that. But maybe you do, it's really up to you. It seems like it's going to be that way in this. Obviously, that you're not going to have like magical stones, I'm sure, where you give yourself a special ability in your house in this game, in Ashes of Creation, but that's still cool to see, for sure. So yeah, and obviously it links in with citizenship, so you become a citizen first and then you buy a house, and that's how they've effectively changed it. What else did I put down here? And that was it. That was it for World. I was looking over it. I was watching, I think it was June's live stream, and the big kind of thing that they wanted to talk about was it was heavily kind of character model focused and pet and mount focused. That looks like there's some cool stuff. They've clearly got a very talented art team. I mean, just looking at this gameplay here and the textures and stuff isn't final, and I think it looks really, really good. I'm just streaming it here at 1080p. My computer doesn't really render 4K. I mean, it could do, but it's actually more of an internet thing for me. But just at 1080p, it looks good for an MMO. I mean, I would say it's up there with probably Elder Scrolls Online at the moment, and it's not even finished. So graphically, it's doing very, very well. Now, another big thing for me was voice over internet protocol. If you don't know what that is, that's Voip, which is voice chat. I know people like to call it Voip and whatnot. It's just voice chat. You can chat to people with your voice in this game. This is great because as it's a game, I've obviously got my concerns about there not being kind of a dungeon finder, because I'm a casual kind of MMO fan. But seeing this gives me a lot of hope. I like the fact that I can just, press whatever key to speak through my mic. I'm presuming push to talk will be in the game, and I can just say, hey, does anyone want to do this dungeon with me? And someone nearby might go, yeah, all right. That's very good. It's a good social feature, because I'll be honest, when I'm in like WoW, it's just silent. It's just silent. No one even chats in it anymore, because everyone's just on Discord or chatting privately in their guild, and it's kind of ruins the social experience a bit. Of course, Discord's still around. Discord's great. Groups of friends are still going to play this game on Discord, but I like the fact that, in the game sound, unless they turn it down, of course, they will be able to hear other people nearby and respond to them. It's like with Sea of Thieves. If you play Sea of Thieves, on kind of PC, you're going to want Discord on so you can chat to your friends, and so other enemy pirates can't hear you. But you also want push to talk on so you can tell people that you're friendly or that you're not friendly or whatever. So it's good to see that that's going to be in this game. Especially because MMOs are always a little bit iffy on the kind of the voice chat stuff. They don't always have it. I don't even know whether the Elder Scrolls Online has it. The Elder Scrolls Online has it on console, but I don't even think it has it on PC. I don't think, or at least I've never heard someone chatting it, unless I turned it off when I first started playing on PC. So it's good to see that it's coming to this game. So now the other two areas I wanted to talk about was kind of the PvE and PvP stuff. I could talk about jobs and classes. Maybe I will do a video on those things. But I don't want to kind of overdo my coverage on this game. I do want to talk about other games, as well as, play other games. So, at the end of the day, this is just a hobby for me. So I thought, I'd do a follow-up video with a bit more information. But at the same time, I'm not planning on becoming a full-time content creator, specifically, not at the moment at least. So, yeah, moving on to PvE. There's some very interesting stuff. Now, this is actually, I guess, more combat, 'cause it will affect PvP as well. But there is no active shield block, and there is also no active dodging. Now, you need to kind of play ESO or a game with action combat to understand, I guess, where I'm coming from with this, as someone who isn't really into tab targeting. I don't mind tab targeting, but it's not my preference. So no active shield basically means you can't hold down a button to block. As well as no active dodging means you can't, press a button to roll out of an attack, or to evade, or a spell cast or whatever, like you can in ESO. I don't know what to feel about this. Basically, they will be in the game, but they'll be skill based. So you'll press a button to put up like a shield that will block, or you'll press a button to, evade an attack. And they'll be tied to certain like rogue-esque classes or hunter-esque classes. The more kind of lighter, more nimbler combat classes. So that's cool. Like, I'm not against that, but in one essence, I get why they've done it, because what they want is they don't want a action combat person beating the living crap out of a tab targeter, because a tab targeter can't actively dodge or block because they're tab targeting. So I get why they've done it. It will balance it out nicely. I just think, unfortunately, I do quite enjoy doing that sort of stuff in ESO, but at the same time, this is a completely different game, and as I haven't played it yet, and as we haven't seen action combat really in a significant form yet, it's hard to really say how it's going to work out. It's a very minor concern of mine. I think they'll do it fine, but like I said, until I play, or until I see some kind of more, because this gameplay right here is obviously tab targeting, so I really am waiting for this action gameplay. I want to see more of it. I mean, Intrepid, if you ever decide to do an action combat video, in the next month or two would be great. I'd love to see some more of that. Also, I think I forgot to mention this as well. Flying mounts, as we are seeing right here. So flying mounts are legendary mounts, and basically they have a lifespan to them. So mounts and pets normally don't have a lifespan, they can just live forever. And that is the case in this game, apart from with flying mounts. And I think this is really interesting. So flying mounts, you know, the devs have said that they very much want it to be that there's only a couple on a server at a time, because they effectively don't want mounts. They think that flying mounts ruins the exploration experience, and I agree. If you think about with WoW, you know, like especially if you have a character skip and you're new to the game, you can just fly over all the old zones. I have still yet to actually level a character in WoW from 1 to 120, because I just got a character skip because I just wanted to play the new content of Legion and then obviously now BFA. And I've gone back and played some of the old content and really enjoyed it, but some of the other old content I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to fly everywhere. And it does ruin the experience a bit. Of course, if it's a bad zone and it's not that great, then, you know, sure, it makes the experience less painful. But it also kind of cheapens the experience. That's why with WoW, you know, whenever there's a new zone, flying is never there instantly. You have to unlock flying. You have to get the Pathfinder or whatever mission done. So with this game, the fact that flying is going to be very rare and kind of end game, and you'll have it only temporarily, and you have to earn another mount that has flying, and it'll, you know, and then it'll disappear again, and you have to earn another one, is quite good, I think. Because it means that by the time you do get a flying mount, 1, you won't have it forever, and 2, you'll only have it for a limited time, so it won't cheapen the experience too much. And you would have done that exploring, which is also good. So you won't be you would have done a lot of exploring by then. Moving further on is also the level cap. So the level cap's level 50. Unless I somehow got that wrong. I'm pretty sure it's level 50. And the level cap and gear cap will be going up with expansions. Who would have thunk it? This game's going to have expansions, and they're going to, you know, put up the level cap. This, 1, doesn't surprise me, and 2, I'm absolutely fine with this. Of course, boosting the level cap does have its issues. Like if you play Elder Scrolls Online, it's been level 50 and they've not changed it. But instead, they brought in, they had the veteran levels, and now they've got champion points, and both need like level squishing. I mean, if you play WoW, they're doing the level squish from 120 to level 60, which will hopefully massively improve that game and that game's leveling experience. So I think my one concern with this is I really hope that maybe they boost the level cap for a couple of expansions and then they do a level squish, and they kind of do frequent level squishes, and by frequent I mean every few years. Or they need a different kind of endgame system in place that gives kind of relevant content and content progression. It's kind of the age-old question with MMOs. It's very hard to solve. And I see that from a casual player who doesn't even do loads of endgame content, and I can still see the issue. But you know what? They're going the kind of the classic route with it for now. I don't see any kind of glaring issues with it. I just think in the long run, they will definitely need to, you know, think of kind of an alternate option, or just be very used to level squishing in order to keep the experience fresh, I think. And moving on, we're almost at the end. For any of those wondering, I watched about 2 whole videos. I watched about 3 hours, and I've only got a page of notes. That's how much I'm condensing this. I will be watching more, and also I think July's one should be due soon. So I might do a video on that one, potentially, or I'll wait till August's one is up, and then I'll condense both. But there is more. So when targeting players, if they've got a transmog on that makes them look like they've got like light armor and they've got heavy armor, when you tab target them, or just target them in general in action combat, it will tell you what buffs and debuffs and etc. that they have. so that you can effectively risk assess. So if you see some guy and you're like, I bet I can take him, and then you realise he's got like 90% resistance to who knows what, you can then go, oh, maybe I won't attack him. And that's great. It's really good to see, because if they are pushing a cosmetic store, you bet there are going to be some weird ass cosmetics that will make people look way stronger or way weaker than they actually are. So a good way of risk assessing for the player is a must. And then lastly, this is also to do with PvP, but it's going back to the houses, because I love talking about houses. If your house gets destroyed in a node siege, you do not lose any of the items inside. You don't lose any of the furniture that you've accrued over time or built or whatever. Everything inside effectively just goes poof, and when you buy a new house, you get all that stuff back to replace. They even joked, the devs, about potentially doing a system whereby they're all in crates when you move into a new place, like a delivery company's moved them, and you have to open those crates to find, find your old kind of furniture and stuff so you can place it. If they do a system like that that's kind of fun and harmless to the player experience, then I'm absolutely okay with it. I think the one thing about this game is I hope it's not a Fable where there's too many features and not enough meaning to those features. If anyone's played Fable, great RPGs, the only issue was there was so many useless features that just like you could make pies and you'd get gold for it, and you'd go, what the hell is this really for, other than as a way of getting gold, when there's like 16 other billion ways of getting gold in this game. So hopefully it's not like that. Like I said, I don't want them to add features just for the sake of having features, but at the same time, a lot of these features look damn good. So I'm not complaining. I think that's really it though for this video. I want to let this run a little bit because this is showing the combat, and I think people seeing the tab targeting combat's not a bad thing at all. I definitely will end up doing another video though come the next 1 or 2 live streams that they do. I'm definitely planning on just following this game, all the way into launch, and hopefully beyond, if I enjoy this game, which I imagine I will, because it looks fucking good. So that's pretty much it. I'm just watching. Look at all these things going on. It's the effects that they're putting on look so good. The effects designers have really outdone themselves. Yeah, I'm just in a bit of awe here. This is the most interesting bit of gameplay. I should have shown this last time. Damn. So yeah, definitely. I think the main thing as well, actually, I completely forgot to mention it, was the whole monster sieges, monster coin system, and I guess it's worth mentioning kind of as a side point, because it is kind of PvP and PvE, so we'll talk about it. So you're going to have monster coins which you'll earn, and what will happen is you'll have a monster siege that can happen, and basically the monster siege is monsters come and siege the node and can destroy it, and if you want, you can use your monster coin to become a monster and help the AI monsters destroy the place, which is unique, I think is the easiest way to put it. It sounds kind of like a thing that New World is also doing, that other MMO. I was actually going to do a video on it today, and I decided not to because I just really don't care about that game, and I didn't want to shit on a game for 20 minutes. So I might cover it at some point, but I think I need something to make me go, oh, that looks quite interesting, and at the moment that's not my feelings towards New World. But yeah, so there's going to be that monster coin mechanic, which allows you to play as all of these creepy critters and monsters and attack your fellow people. So that is really interesting. But anyway, I think if I'm going to do another video, like I said, it'll be the next monthly update. I also want to talk about the races and classes at some point. So maybe I'll do that sometime in the next week or 2. But I don't want to do a follow-up video super quick. I just wanted to do this one because I felt like there was so much that interests me that I didn't talk about. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.